there in third position as well. So as the race now round Riches on towards the hairpin, we can see that the lack of adhesion flag is now being shown as they go into Wilson. So it's Tyler Donovan who is leading the way from Darrell Dance, and then it's Morgan Creasy just coming under a little bit of pressure. It looks like Clinton Wood that was.
Yeah, Clinton's got points proof in this championship as well as the rookie 600s get underway, and I don't think that was Sean Gosling taking the lead, was it? I don't know, I'm not used to their colours, and of course the orange vests on these guys also make it a bit of a blur as well. We don't get to know them to the second meeting, really, second year I should say, as we watch the Thunderbike Ultras coming out of the Agastinis there. Now, Creasy very obviously in third, that's Smith in fourth on the Suzuki. I'm trying to pick the top two. I think that's Dance leading Donovan, and Donovan looking for an outside pass at Oggies there. They're literally side by side, leaning on each other as they go round. Watching everybody else come through. Here come the 600s then through the racket, Palmer's corner, and again we don't have the numbers or the recognitions of the bikes at this stage, so we'll have to wait for the computer to pick them up and tell us exactly who's doing what to whom. But this is very much a dash for the cash, of course. 4-lap race, very short indeed. Getting a little bit cloudy here. Hopefully it's going to stay dry, because that's obviously what ruined their day yesterday. I can see our clerk of the course wandering back after doing that split start there, so give a wave to Dad, Uncle, Grandfather and everybody else that he represents to the rest of the grunt. And the outside going for the inside at Murray's, I think. I think Tyler might get the drive though, but the Suzuki seems to have more herbs coming off the line. Obviously this is arguing is all very good news to Morgan Creasy. It's going to allow him to stay in touch. It's going to be Donovan across the line from Dance. Creasy looking for an inside pass on Dance. He's going to be right at the tail of Donovan, but he doesn't get it because Dance goes round the outside there. I think Donovan served notice though. Just behind them, Smith and Rose are going for it as well. I think Smith is probably going to close after making up a place at the start there. Wood does actually lose a place to Rose on the start there. Let's have a quick look down at Wilson's. Everybody safely through, making their way up towards the fast Palmer's corner. I think Creasy's going to be coming quickly. There we go. This is actually purple in sector 1, or sector 2, sorry, for Creasy. So that just shows that Morgan wants a bit of this action as Donovan leads into Agos once again. Here come the 600s now. We can pick them up accurately. It is actually Taylor. I didn't think it was Gosling leading the way. There we go. This is critical, Bradley. Gosling's not on the board there, so I think he was one of the people involved in the incident. So it would have been a 600 incident. We've got Taylor, Benton, Neal, Cannons, Preston, Renwick, Shiner, Crowley, Mason, Denner and Gallagher. So actually some of our leading protagonists in the 600, such as Sean Gosling, Dan Preston, are not there. So that's what's happened to them. They were the bikes involved in that incident, I'm thinking. So this could shake the championship up once again. Preston is out there, and he's the one, of course, pushing on very consistently for the championship lead.
First split times are coming through, and it's Tyler Donovan who was purple, but then Kieran Smith is going marginally quicker as well. He was 1.6 seconds away from Morgan Creasy at the line 1 lap ago, but he's closed it down by 0.2 of a second, so he's chipping away, but there's not enough time in this race. Of course, when they cross the line, that'll be half race distance already in this 4-lap sprint.
Well, round they come then, Corums, and you can see it's Creasy sandwich, which is going to be the most distasteful thing I'm going to say this weekend. And on the Murray's corner, it's going to be Donovan punching that Kawasaki out as hard as he possibly dare onto the front straight. Creasy's going to work the slipstream, not quite close enough to make it past. Dance holds there in third. Here comes Kieran Smith in fourth. What's the time's going to say? Yeah, guess what? Kieran Smith, fastest man on the track at 57.967. So all the top 4 have gone sub 2 minutes, and Justin Rose behind them just misses out, going 2 minutes, 0.003. This is where the battle is, and I think that the ideal thing for Donovan is to finish where he is. He wants Smith to get past on Dance, so we won't know that's happening behind him, of course, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Kieran getting on terms, because he is the lap record holder around here, and of course he's got his own points. He's very much in the battle for the podium at the end of the year, of course, Kieran Smith, so he wants to pick up all the points that he can as well. Let's see if Donovan got any weaknesses at all. I can't say that I've noticed anything. Maybe the top end of that Suzuki seems to work better on the straights, and maybe he's getting off of Williams a little bit better. But through the midfield, there doesn't seem to be any great changes, does there, Bradley?
No, you're absolutely right. I'm looking further down the order there. The top 3, top 4 are now through in towards Oggies. Now, Kieran Smith right on the rear wheel now of Darrell Dance. There is Justin Rose, and he was going so strong earlier on in the Retro 1000 race, wasn't he? As they make the way up towards the right-hander then of Williams. That brings them onto the back straight. So we'll keep an eye on them as they go down the back straight for what will be the third time and the penultimate time as well, of course. So we'll get the first split times come through very shortly, but that is where the race leaders will be heading now, and it's a purple first sector for Morgan Creasy, but that's very quickly changed by the number 5 machine of Kieran Smith, because he's gone purple yet again.
Matthew Benson is the man leading the way in the 600s, and he'd dearly like to stay where he is. He's had a couple of silvers, couple of bronzes throughout the year, and if you could add the magic gold to him, he'd be absolutely delighted, but he's only got a quarter of a second gap over the next man across the line, and that was Jake Taylor, so there's not a lot to choose between them.
Morgan Creasy back into the race lead now, so for the first time in this race at least, Morgan Creasy, a bike number 800 on that fluorescent yellow Suzuki, he leads ahead of Tyler Donovan as the last lap flag goes out. Darryl Dance and Kieran Smith up next, only 1.2 seconds covering the top 4 as they head on to the final lap. Then there goes Justin Rose on the white and black 123 Yamaha, and then it is Clinton Wood and Connor Swire who's found his way through on James Fern. So James Fern has dropped about 3 seconds in the final sector.
Another fastest lap then to Kieran Smith into the 57s, and the other person in the 57s is the leader Creasy, who's going to try and extend that gap of about half a second that he had coming across the line. Rose, Wood, Swire, Fern, so they're all chopping and changing actually. Swire went past on Fern, Russo went past on Corkett. That's an extreme battle, so that's a critical move for him for an extra 4 points.
Yeah, they're heading in towards Agostini's now, and there's not a whole lot of separation between the top 4 riders. There goes Morgan Creasy, and it looked like he ran a little bit wide on the exit of Wilson's, but he got it under control, and he still holds on to the race lead. But that one between Darryl Dance and Kieran Smith, that is most definitely not done and dusted yet.
No, absolutely not. They're pretty much equidistant to make the way to Oggies, but I think the closest of those distances is going to be that one for that third place. Kieran Smith wants that quite badly. Big long line of 600s going across the line. They're actually all very close, those 600s, and it is Benton, Taylor, Neal, Renwick, Cannon, Shiner, Preston, Skins has gone backwards there as they've overtaken the Extreme Machine there. Certainly at the sharp end of the Extreme Machines is quite predictable as Russo leads Corkett, Biswell. May still in the race, as is Firth and Stagg. So a few people have been lost along the way. Obviously we lost the first few at the start there, but the main battle then is making its way down the straight, and you can see it coming under the bridge there. That is still Creasy leading as they go into Nelson's now. Go on, mate.
Yeah, they're coming around Bomhole and around Coram for the final time. Morgan Creasy leads the way from Tyler Donovan. There's Darryl Dance, who will he try and outbreak him from that distance? No, he can't. He thought about it, but it's just too risky on this final lap. So Morgan Creasy, a little bit of contact there between Tyler Donovan and Darryl Dance. There's the exit of Murray's. Will that work in favour of Kieran Smith? No, but Darryl Dance, he does take second position from Tyler Donovan. That was so close there.
Not quite sure that body language there was from Tyler Donovan, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to comment on it because I didn't really see it, but just one of those elbow rubs down there. Do you think it was Bradley or what?
I think it's just 2 into 1 doesn't go. It looked like Tyler Donovan trying to square it off, and Darryl Dance was just there. So I mean, we are about 3 miles away from the last corner, but that's what it seems to be.
With the building in the way as well. What a great view of it, as you say. Okay, either way, that's good news for Darryl Dance as he tries very much to keep those championship hopes alive, because we are running out of races very rapidly indeed. Got one more race this afternoon for this class, so at least we're not totally out of it yet, and then we're going to have another 200 points at the last couple of rounds. The next round will be at Brands Hatch on the 20th and 21st of September, so that is one to put in your diaries. Okay, we're back to the top of the program once again, aren't we, Bradley? It's time for a bit more CB 500 action. So that means we've got basically a quarter of the program left to run here. Let's have a quick look.
Well, further down the order then, everybody else crossing the line. Looks like Ricky Woods dropped a position on that final lap, but that would be with the rookie 600. So, as they came across the line, top 3 in the Thunderbike Ultras, in fact top 5 in the Ultras, Creasy, Dance, Donovan, Smith and Rose. In the Extremes, it's Russo from Corkett by a 1/10 of a second, Mark Buswell, David May and Andrew Firth, who found his way through on race.